This is a Mac. This is a Mac. And this, my friends, is what happens when you mash them together. Get ready to travel back to the future because today we're diving into the Wokyis M5, a retro-inspired docking station that's about to give your Mac Mini M4 or any PC with a USB-C connection a serious blast from the past. It's like Apple's iconic 1984 commercial, but instead of breaking conformity and big screens, we're fusing two eras of innovation into one totally righteous setup. If you love a good dose of nostalgia, especially when it comes with a side of modern tech, you're in the right place. The fine folks at Wokyis were kind enough to send over their 10 gigabits per second version of the M5 Hub for me to review. And let me tell you, it's more than just a pretty face. It's a full-blown expansion pack for your Mac Mini, adding 13 ports and a totally awesome 5-inch IPS 720p display. This incredible device is currently a Kickstarter project, bringing this retro vision to life. All right, let's kick things off with an unboxing, as we always do on the channel. It's like unwrapping a brand new toy on the morning of Christmas 1984. First off comes the plastic wrap. Is that air from 1984 I smell? Now, let's take a tour around the box itself. The packaging is sleek and protective, and I love how they've incorporated these retro-inspired icons and text on each side, especially on the back, where they highlight key features like the SSD option up to 8 terabytes, the SD and micro SD 4.0 card readers, the USB-C power supply for additional juice if you need it, that cool 5-inch multi-use display, the 10 gigabits per second USB-A and USB-C ports, the HDMI input, and the 3.5mm audio jack. These are features original Mac developers never would have thought possible. Now, nestled right on top, you'll find the included color instruction manual. It's packed with all the information you need to connect and set up the hub, and even detailed instructions for installing an SSD. And get this, it even includes guidance for Windows users. Bill Gates is rolling his eyes. Now for the main event, let's pull the Wokyis M5 from its protective sleeve and packaging to reveal the hub itself. Just look at this beauty. It's a miniature homage to the original Macintosh, from its iconic beige casing to the classic screen bezel. The attention to detail is perfect. On the front, you'll find those two blazing fast USB-A ports, the SD and micro SD card readers, and a versatile USB-C port. The sides feature those cool retro vents, a perfect callback to vintage computer design. And spinning around to the back, there are two more USB-A ports, an HDMI port, the USB-C host port, the USB power port, and that handy 3.5mm headphone speaker jack. As we look around, you'll notice a discrete cover on the bottom. Before we dive into that, let's see how this looks with the Mac M4. Let's go ahead and slip that on top of the M4. Wow, that looks really good. It perfectly complements the Mac Mini's footprint and allows access to all its ports. The only thing this hub won't do is provide easy access to the Mac Mini's power button. As you know, it's pretty common with most of these hubs. You'll have to gently tip the whole unit to the right to turn on the computer. It's a small trade-off for such a really cool setup. All right, back to this little mystery box under the cover. Opening it up reveals some additional goodies. Inside, you'll find a small flathead screwdriver, which is perfect for the SSD install, and two varied thickness thermal pads. This is great for ensuring optimal heat dissipation for your SSD. And check out these cables. There are 3 USB-C cables, a short one, perfect for linking the hub directly to the Mac Mini, a thicker USB-C cable designed for connecting external power, though you'll need to supply your own power brick, and a thinner USB-C cable for connecting other devices. They've thought of everything to get you up and running with this hub quickly. And now for one of the most satisfying moments, removing the screen protector from the Wokyis M5 display. Isn't that so satisfying? Before I get to the SSD, I want to quickly show you something cool. You can actually use this hub with or without the Mac Mini M4. You don't have to choose whether you are a Mac or a PC to use this hub.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And I'm a PC.
In this case, I'm going to use the hub with my MacBook Air. You'll see I'll just leave the cover on the bottom and plug in directly to USB-C, and it makes a nice little sidecar to my MacBook Air. And of course, you can do this with any PC that has a USB-C out. Now let's talk about expanding your storage with an SSD. The Wokyis M5 makes this a breeze. The M2 access panel pulls off easily because it's held in place with magnets. No tools are required to remove this panel. Inside, you'll see a small screw that allows you to secure various size SSDs, and it supports 2230, 2242, 2260, and 2280 sizes, giving you flexibility for your storage needs. I'm going to insert an SSD into the slot, tighten that small screw to hold it firmly in place, and then crucially, use the thickest thermal pad in my particular case to ensure optimal heat dissipation. And get this, the cover for the SSD slot isn't just a cover, it's a solid aluminum block designed to dissipate heat, and it just snaps back into place using those great magnets. Upgrades are a total breeze, like those on an original Mac and unlike those on a modern Mac. With the SSD installed, we're almost ready for prime time. I'll place the Wokyis M5 back on top of the Mac Mini M4, connect the two with the short USB-C cable, and now it's ready to move to the main office desk and plug everything in. Let's take it over there and take a look at it. Now over here at the desk, I'm plugging in all the USB-C cables, including another essential hub that I just have to use in order to have enough ports on my Mac. Yes, I'm that geeky. And then finally, the power supply to the Mac Mini. It's time to turn it on for the first time and see this retro powerhouse hub in action. All right, now that we know that the screen works, let's run a speed test using Blackmagic Design's raw speed test. And I've displayed that on the screen for you. And as you can see, for everyday tasks and even 4K video work, these speeds are solid. But if you're a serious video editor handling massive 4K or even larger files, you might want to hold out for that 80 gigabits per second version that's coming later in the year. For everyone else with data storage needs, some basic video editing, this 10 gigabits per second hub should work like a charm. Hey, if you're digging this review and want to see more awesome tech that bridges the gap between retro and modern, be sure to hit subscribe down below on my retroCombs tech channel and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next adventure. And by the way, I have another channel solely devoted to retro computers over at retroCombs. That's minus the dash tech. It's just at retroCombs. And the tech channel that you're watching now is retrocombs-tech. But check out that channel if you just want to learn about retro computers, my experiences with them, but then adding cool modern additions. It's retro with a touch of modern. Now let's get back to our review of this hub.
Vive la révolution! Aux armes, citoyens!
And let's talk about the piece de resistance, or as I like to call it, the P's that are resisting. That glorious 5-inch HD display measuring 5 inches diagonally with a crisp 1280 by 720 resolution. This IPS display offers excellent viewing angles and really vibrant colors, making it a versatile secondary display that can seriously level up your workflow. When you power on the Wokyis M5, you're greeted with a fun hello graphic, a fantastic nod to the iconic Happy Mac greeting from the original 1984 Macintosh. It's reminiscent of that revolutionary early GUI with its crisp pixels and intuitive finder, a true blast from the past that makes you appreciate how far we've come with modern Macs. And as you can see, it is another display connected to your Mac Mini M4, and you can control and configure it using the display's system's settings preferences. But that is just the beginning. With a few clicks, you can transform the screen into whatever you need. Want a retro digital clock counting down to your next epic gaming session? Done. How about a dynamic photo frame cycling through your favorite nostalgic pics? Easy peasy. Or for those chill moments, turn it into a mini home theater. Imagine watching a classic 80s horror flick on this little screen while you're crunching numbers on your main display. Take that, Freddy Krueger. It's like having a personal VCR on your desk, but without the flashing clock constantly reading midnight. The 1280 by 720 resolution means everything looks crisp and clear, making it truly a functional and fun addition to your Mac Mini M4. Now, while this 5-inch screen isn't designed to be your primary display, it's absolutely perfect for those smaller, glanceable tasks. A dedicated music player display or a continuous photo slideshow. It keeps your main screen clutter-free while it's totally tubular, showing all of those important notifications or glanceable topics. And here's a neat trick. You could even use this screen exclusively with your Mac Mini to create a truly self-contained mini Mac, just like the original Mac style, only even smaller. It's got better resolution than the original Mac and more memory than Steve Jobs could have even imagined back in 1984. It's a neat trick, but definitely bring your magnifying glass for those long work sessions if you choose this display as your primary display for your Mac Mini M4. I don't recommend it, folks. Now, on top of the unit, you'll find dedicated buttons for adjusting the display brightness. As you increase or decrease it, a super cool 8-bit style on-screen menu pops up, a really nice touch that leans into that retro aesthetic. And speaking of control, the power button on the Wokyis M5 doesn't just turn off the display, it actually removes it from your Mac's display settings, which is super handy for managing your screen real estate. I configured it as an extended display in the Mac's display settings and even moved its window underneath the main monitor and to the left a little bit so the mouse flows smoothly between the two displays. Speaking of retro computing, this is where the Wokyis M5 truly shines for those of us who are vintage computer enthusiasts. We've always dreamed of having a modern Mac Mini that could also give that authentic 1984 Macintosh experience. And with a Wokyis M5's built-in display, that dream is now a reality. Check this out. Instead of a complex local emulator, we can do this the easy way. I'm running a classic Mac emulator directly from the web using Infinite Mac at infinitemac.org. Link in the video description down below. And I've configured it to display macOS 1.0, the OG, on the Wokyis M5 screen. Look at this. It's like stepping back in time. The familiar black and white pixels, the classic menu bar, the original Mac OS GUI, it all looks incredibly sharp and authentic on this little 5-inch IPS display. This screen is even better than the original Mac back in the day. I'm sure I'll catch some flack for that in the comments. Oh, by the way, leave comments down below. This is a mind-blowing way to experience the early days of graphical user interfaces right on your desk. And you can try multiple versions of the OS at this website. It's a neat trick that truly brings back the spirit of the original Mac to your modern Mac setup. All right, so if you're looking to give your Mac Mini M4 a radical makeover, expand its capabilities, and add a serious dose of retro cool to your setup, the Wokyis M5 is where it is at, folks. This hub truly embodies the perfect blend of past and present, bringing the best of retro aesthetics to your modern workstation. I've tried many Mac Mini M4 hubs on this channel, but this is by far the coolest and my personal favorite. I've always wanted a small display integrated into a hub like this and often wondered why no one thought of that before. I'm so glad Wokyis has now included one and in the perfect form factor, that of an original Mac classic. How perfect is that? While this 10 gigabits per second version is fantastic, I'm absolutely stoked for the 80 gigabits per second model to arrive in October, and hoping that the folks over at Wokyis will send me one of those models as they did with this 10 gigabits per second version. And thank you again, Wokyis, for the opportunity to take a first look at your M5 hub. Hey, and if an 80 gigabits per second version does arrive, I'm happy to tell you that this 10 gigabits per second will be perfectly well suited on my wife, the lovely accountant's Mac upstairs. She'll get a huge kick out of the features, that little screen, and all the things that she can do with a supplementary screen on her M4. And speaking of making your Mac experience even better and channeling that spirit of innovation that started with the original Macintosh, I've got a whole playlist dedicated to Mac and Apple accessories that you might find super interesting. Whether you're looking for the best peripherals, storage solutions, or other cool gadgets to enhance your Apple setup, be sure and check out this playlist. It will have you covered. That is it for me, folks. retroCombs out.